I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this memorial service for Vallabhi Devi Dasi, who we all know passed away tragically a few days ago. Special thanks to many senior devotees, godbrothers and godsisters who are here to honor her. I was sitting there and I was thinking that there's so many festivals, so many ceremonies we have in our Krishna conscious movement. Prabhupada has informed us that in the spiritual sky there's a festival every day. But this particular type of ceremony no one looks forward to. Neither could we expect it. But it's our duty to honor such a wonderful Vaishnavi and soothe our separation by hearing the glories of her devotional service in her short lifetime. I think everyone here is feeling the pangs of separation. That shows what a wonderful devotee she was. She affected so many people's lives. Someone was telling me that they were reading the internet and devotees who never met her but heard of her qualities, they're also crying in separation. Actually, I have one disciple who left Krishna consciousness about 2 years ago, and unfortunately she dove very deep into Maya, did her best to forget Krishna. But for several years she was a very good friend of Vallabhi on her Polish tour and also here in Vrindavan during Kartik. And I actually hadn't heard from her in 2 years. I just heard of her, and it was painful. But I got an email the night before last from her, quite a long email, in which she said she heard about the tragic departure of Vallabhi, and it affected her so much. She was writing, Srila Gurudev, I feel I've just wasted my time out here. I've tried to enjoy it. There's nothing out here. And I'm so embarrassed by my activities. And just hearing of Vallabhi's departure has brought me back to Krishna consciousness. She said, I'm chanting 16 rounds, following the principles, and I'm going to join the temple. And I promise you, and I promise Vallabhi, I'll never leave again. So it's painful. Actually, days like this are really mixed emotions because, of course, the goal of all our devotional service is to go back home, back to Godhead. And every single devotee that I've spoken to or contacted on internet or by the phone, my phone is ringing 24/7, everyone's convinced that she went back home, back to Godhead. So we're joyful, but at the same time, we're sad. We hear about this in advanced stages of Krishna consciousness. There's often the mixing of the rasas, so we're getting a little taste like that. Everyone's experiencing in a different way because, of course, everyone had different relationships with her, unique in and of their own. Obviously, it's very hard for the spiritual master when a disciple departs so early. It's very difficult for the father, very difficult for the mother, very difficult for the sister, very difficult for the friends, and just anyone who heard about someone who's so nicely situated and has done so much devotional service. So today we'll be having devotees will come forth and share their memories of her. Some of those memories will make us laugh. Some of those memories will stun us. Some of those memories will make us cry. In this way, we'll churn the nectar of the ocean of devotion. I'll be calling on different devotees, and midway through, we have a timeline, but we have time. We'll go to the feast is prepared in her honor. That feast will be served at 2 p.m. So we have time, but midway through the readings, I'm going to ask Toninji, who was one of her favorite kirtan singers whenever Vallabhi was here in Vrindavan, I don't think she missed a day going down to see Radharaman. Am I correct, Saki? Every day, without fail. I think she missed one day during Kartik, and she was herself crying about that, to go see Radharaman. And she would just sit for hours and listen to Tanuji sing his bhajans. And she spent a lot of time also at the Samadhi Mandir of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gyanasham Baba and Srinivas, his dedicated servant, they loved her very much, and she loved them very much. She did so much seva there, gave donations, and they're renunciates, so whatever they needed, she would make sure they had provided. And so we'll also be serving a feast of the sadhus in that area a few days from now. Before we continue, I'd like to share with you her own reflections and realizations about departing from this world. It's on everyone's mind. We know that life is temporary, dukkhalayam shashvatam, and we could leave at any moment, and that alone is an inspiration to become Krishna conscious. But when a loved one, a devotee, passes away, it almost becomes a sense of urgency. But she seemed to have that urgency all the time. This is a distinguishing quality that I noted about her. She was always in full Krishna consciousness. You know, when her friends would get together sometimes, I remember in Brisbane or different places like that, they maybe go to a movie, they go to play some sports or just chit-chat or just drive. She wouldn't do that. She would refuse. She'd just say, I'll stay and chant or read or do service. This is very distinguishing. Always engaged in Krishna consciousness. She had that urgency. And many devotees have told me that she would often say, especially here in Vrindavan, that it was a kirtan the other night. She turned to one of her friends and said, I'd like to leave my body at such a moment when we're fully engaged in chanting Hare Krishna. Or on Parikrama, she'd say the same thing. So she had a sense. She understood she would leave. Of course, no one expected so suddenly, but she had that sense of urgency, which I think we can all learn from. Guru and disciple. We can appreciate that sense of urgency. And that will be seen here as I read one of the last entries into her diary. She kept a diary. As the days of Kartik get closer to the end, it is so inspiring to see devotees become more and more dedicated in their vratas. Watch them dive deeper into the nectar and take as much advantage as they can of being in the Dham during this auspicious time of Kartik. We become desperate to do as much as we can in these last few days, making sure no opportunity is missed. Gurudev spoke about death being the final lesson, as several devotees dispersed the ashes of the departed on our Yamuna journey this morning. He spoke of our life being preparation for this final lesson. I realized that the fever with which we practice bhakti in these last days of Kartik emulates our often attempts to cram in devotional service at the end of our lives. But the paradox is, we have no idea when this final lesson may come to us. So my prayer today is to Sri Dauji. My dear Balaram, please bestow upon me the spiritual strength with which to practice bhakti in the mood of desperation, begging for opportunities to serve and never letting an opportunity be missed. I pray for the determination to continue to increase my enthusiasm and never become lax in spiritual life, knowing well that the final lesson of death may at any point reach my doorstep. Which it did, but which he was prepared. Here in Vrindavan, on the way to a retreat to hear the glories of chanting Hare Krishna, with her hand in her bead bag, loudly chanting japa, probably not even seeing the car come, leaving her body instantaneously in the holy Dham. And this is also a very special month. Krishna refers to this month in Bhagavad-Gita. Of months, I am this particular month, November, December. So very, very auspicious. But even if a devotee leaves some other part of the world, wherever, it's always auspicious. Sometimes yogis, we hear from Bhagavad-Gita, they plan to leave their bodies when the sun is in this course or that course is particular, But Krishna says to Arjuna, don't worry about that. Always be engaged in devotional service, and your final destination is guaranteed. I think Vallabhi exemplified that, and a nice lesson for all of us. So we'll continue now. I'll call on different devotees. Please bear in mind there's about 20 devotees who would like to speak, so don't speak too long. And we're very grateful that Panchagoda Prabhu has graced us here this afternoon. So we'd like to ask Panchagoda Prabhu to please come forward and speak. Oh, he's not here. Okay. Then we'll begin with Karunika. Yeah, you can come and speak. Karunika's from Christchurch, New Zealand, and had a lot of nice association with Vallabhi in nearby Australia. Can you help with the mic?
Hare Krishna, everyone. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the 6th chapter, 41st verse, says to us, Krishna says, the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or a family of rich aristocracy. It appears that this is who our Vallabhi was, an unsuccessful yogi who had already experienced vast enjoyment on the planets of the pious. She took shelter of the wonderful Vaishnava family of Shaki Roy, Vrajalakshmi, and Kaishori Sindhu. They cared for her and supported her through her struggles and guided her to her spiritual master, His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj, who engaged her in service to Krishna and his devotees. Together, they helped her blossom into a perfect devotee, a transcendental golden bumblebee who dedicated her life to finding the nectar and the association of devotees. Vallabhi was at home in Sri Vrindavan Dham. She seemed to know everyone and would pop up everywhere, in temples, the bazaar, on parikrama, at the MVT, and all the roads in between. Vallabhi used to telephone and text me sometimes when she was in Australia. She would ask me complicated questions that perplexed her. She would talk and talk and talk about her struggle and her confusion about her seeming inability to find a position in the material world. She just wasn't interested in it. In spite of having so many material assets, intelligence, humility, physical beauty, enthusiasm, determination, personal communication, and compassion for others, she just couldn't find a place in the material world that could compete with the joy of serving in Sri Vrindavan Dham. She expressed her frustration to me many times. She questioned her motivations, was always self-scrutinizing, and concerned she hadn't done enough. The most outstanding lesson she has shown me is that material inadequacies are no impediment to spiritual perfection. She has given so much hope and faith through her brilliant example that dedication to Guru and Krishna can overcome all obstacles. Srila Prabhupada talks about how Krishna treats devotees like her in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2-17. Krishna says, or Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord, and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire to go back to Godhead. Only very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. Srila Indradumna Maharaj positioned Vallabhi to serve the Vaishnavas in Sri Vrindavan Dham and anywhere there were devotees. She was passionate to follow his instructions. She was passionate to please the Vaishnavas. She was passionate in her love for Krishna. She was passionate to go back to Godhead. It was this practical service to Guru and the Vaishnavas that demonstrated her absolute sincerity to please Krishna and won her the love and respect of everyone who knew her. I offer my humble obeisances to Vallabhi Devi Dasi, to her wonderful family, to her spiritual father, His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj, and to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
Braja, you can read. We'll ask Braja Chandrika to read now, and then she'll also read the offering of Rasika Siromani, whom Braja Vallabhi was serving as, you could say, Rasika Siromani's right-arm man. She just was with Rasika all the time on the Polish tour and here in Vrindavan helping her. The two of them were like a dynamic team, and Rasika is, of course, just devastated. But she wrote an offering as well, so Braja Chandrika will read that offering as well. And then Vilas, Manjari, you can speak and you can read Tarika's offering. And then we'll ask Turunji to sing because he has to go back soon to Radharaman. Okay? So after you. So.
Haribol. So I'll read Rasika Mataji's offering first. Dear most Vallabhi, Dandavat, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Gurudev. I still cannot imagine writing this memorial offering for you after having just spent the entire month of Kartik right next to you, practically every moment of every day, either in person or by text. This has been such a shock from which I haven't recovered yet. Even today, as I was traveling alone on a train here in Japan, I was remembering how you teased me just 2 weeks back that I'm not adventurous and that I should try new things. I was about to text you with a selfie to show how I'm indeed bold. It was only after a few seconds I realized you wouldn't be receiving that text. I feel like I've lost my orientation of time itself because that's how unexpected your departure is to us. How is this possible? Initially, I was extremely confused on hearing how such an accident could happen to you and how Krishna, the Supreme Controller, could let such a thing happen to you. Only after seeing the volumes of glorification shared by devotees across the world, literally all 6 continents, that we could understand that it must be one of Krishna's purposes to reveal your glories to the whole world. Until now, although we have known each other for several years and have served together, I never realized what a priceless treasure your association was, and what an extraordinary caliber of a devotee you are. When you were always ready to serve me, I never thought of your greatness. I just took it for granted that Vallabhi wants to do this service and let me engage her. It is only now I am realizing realizing it is I that should have served you all these years and not the other way around. This attitude of spontaneous mood of service was so natural to you. That's such a telling sign of spiritual advancement. No matter how tired you were, no matter how late it was, no matter how difficult it was, you were always available for me to help. You were 108% dependable, totally. How will I ever find such a companion again? You were very mature, way more mature for your age, and at that same time you connected so well with your generation of devotees and made friends with practically everyone that came in contact with you. This is such an amazing quality of yours. Sudram Sarvadehinam. Sudham Sarvadehinam. You never wasted a single opportunity to any service. You were fully dedicated to the Kartik Parikram. You are part of a team that organises Sacred Sound Retreat in Australia. You recently organised the Australian Youth Bus Tour. You were serving many years in Polish Festival in Woodstock. You also recently added Sadhu Sangha to the list of your services. You were up to the neck with service all the time, but still you felt you weren't doing enough. You really wanted to do some organised efforts for serving kids of our movement. You wanted to do more for the cows of Vrindavan. In fact, although you didn't have any reason to work, you said you were earning only to work, to donate, to take care of the cows of Vrindavan. You made the full use of Kartik and your stay in Sri Vrindavan Dham. I don't know how you balanced everything. Even though you were always busy immersing yourself fully in so many activities, like feeding cows in Goshala, doing extra Govardhan parikrams, chanting extra rounds in Radhakund, escaping, no matter what, to have the last darshan of Radha Raman, you never missed any of the parikram services. Once I asked you to do some service and then realized that you were in a class, so I asked you not to worry about it. But you immediately replied saying, "My first priority is to serve you." I often used to call you Miss Yogini, marveling at your extraordinary ability to be at so many places and do so many things with such energy and enthusiasm. Even though you did so much service for Srila Gurudev, you never demanded to get his association. You had so much desire to go to his home and serve him like other devotees do, but you said you won't go unless he called you for some service. I had told you several times I would take you to Dhanishta and ask her to give you service, but you said it was not your nature to push yourself. You never thought you deserved it. Even on the last day of Kartik, when you broke the fast, you were paying obeisances to everyone. You did not want to disturb Srila Gurudev, so you went behind him and paid obeisances. I wanted Gurudev to give him your blessings. As you were so shy, I went to Gurudev and told him about your fast. Then you paid him obeisances and he gave you a garland and your face was beaming. This paper garland is the garland. I still remember the happiness you had of pleasing Srila Gurudev. You were so humble. Even though you were very confident and intelligent, you still asked for help and suggestions from other devotees. Sacred Sounds Retreat service was so dear to you, and you always wanted to do it the best way, and you always asked me for my suggestions from whatever little we do at Sadhu Sangha. You even showed me the email invitation you were going to send to Govinda Maharaj and asked me if you should reword it or there is anything that needs to be fixed. You were always very introspective. Recently, you shared with me your dealings with a devotee who had stopped talking to you. You didn't want relationships to be like that, so you went to that devotee and asked for forgiveness. You told me how you had learnt from Mahatma Prabhu the importance of forgiveness. Even after that, you told the relationship didn't improve and asked me what you should do about it. I was so deeply appreciating how introspective you were, and even though there was no fault on your part, you were so miraculous in following good Vaishnava relationships. No service was too small for you. This Kartik, when we were at Unchagaon, a local child had answered the call of nature close to where some of our parikram devotees were sitting. You immediately ran out and got a rag cloth from somewhere and cleaned up the mess. You never thought it was someone else's job. You were ready to do anything and everything in the mood of a true servant without expecting any recognition. With all these outstanding Vaishnava qualities, you were also simultaneously so much fun to be around. Although you were so much younger to me, you always gave me a lot of suggestions on practical things. Smiley face. I like how I should tie my sari, what kurtas and dhotis I should buy for Govinda Charan, etc. You told me on the last day of Kartik that you wanted to hang out with me on the next day, and I reminded you that I'm 20 years older than you. But you said it didn't matter. We always moved like friends. Many times you came and told me that devotees ask if you were my sister or daughter. We both used to laugh and joke that either they thought I'm too old or you were too young. You always teased me for not knowing much about emojis. You will send me new ones all the time and ask me what it means. When I worked at night, you used to bring me tea, snacks, prasadam all the time and often text me asking, "Do you need any snacks for your nighttime leela?" Even though you were busy, you took so much care of me like a mother. I feel so fortunate to have had whatever brief association we have had, and at the same time feel totally miserable that I won't be having any more of it in this lifetime. I do not know how I'm going to do Kartik Parikram without you next year. Every place in Vrindavan reminds me of you. This is where we bargained for flowers. This is where we served prasadam last time. The pain of separation is too much for me to bear. You soaked me with your loving affection, although I didn't deserve it at all. For all that you did for me, I never did anything back to you. How playfully you left me behind in this world and made me an eternal debtor to you. Vallabhi, I really want to see you. My appreciation and longing for your association has only grown so much more in our separation. Although it's not in my hands, I am even more determined to do everything possible in my capacity to use my body, mind, and intelligence in the service of Guru and Krishna, and pray that one day, by their mercy, I may stand a chance to meet you once again in the transcendental abode. Until then, all I have is fond memories of everything you have been to me. I will relish each and every one of them, as they are now more valuable than anything else in this world. I will also see you in your most wonderful parents, who have raised and gave such a gem of Vaishnavi to this world. I will see you in your dear sister Kaishori Sindhu, who shares the same energy and enthusiasm as you. I will share your glories wherever I go and whomever I meet. You'll live forever in my heart. Your servant, friend, sister, mother, student, and everything else, Rasika Shiromani Dasi. She added a little message at the end. I'm missing being there, but I'm there in my heart. Okay, now I'll read my one. My dearest Vallabhi, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. My most sincere and love-filled pranams, and the biggest, tightest 10-minute hug you can imagine, and a little more. When your desire to serve is beyond your capacity, yet you act without hesitation, that is the moment empowerment occurs. Bhakti Tirtha Swami. Over the past few days, every moment, prayer, adventure, kirtan, bhajan, laugh, and realization we shared together have all repeated themselves over and over in my mind. Every single one leaving a more deep impression in my heart. For the past 5 weeks, we spent every moment together, from meeting in the morning to parikrams, singing bhajans in the afternoon, and visiting Radha Ramanji and Srinivas Baba every evening. But the most important time for me was the last 6 days we spent together. In these days, for 24 hours a day, I got to see how a pure, sincere, surrendered, Krishna-conscious devotee lives and prays. Everywhere I look and everything I hear reminds me of you, and when I think of you, I think of Krishna. You weren't interested in this world. Your mind was always filled with thoughts of Krishna, Radharani, Giriraj, Radharaman, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, and how you would arrange your day and life so that Krishna was in the center. Every day you asked, what is your realization for today? Some days we had deep discussions about them. Other days our realizations were something like, Krishna is real, and there was no discussion needed. You often mentioned to a lot of us that if a devotee sees you and they don't feel joyful, then that is Vaishnava Aparad. And if any time anyone ever saw you, we felt so much joy and happiness. Even when you are not physically here, when you come into our minds, we feel so much joy and overwhelming love that we cannot help but smile and cry. During Kartik, you took only fruits and veggies. So every day on an empty stomach, you serve prasadam to all of the devotees with a heart overflowing with joy and without any complaints. You taught me how to pray. Your life revolved around prayer. You prayed so sincerely all the time, praying for service, praying for mercy, praying for Radharani's merciful sidelong glance. Kada karishyasi hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning until just before you close your eyes to sleep, all you think about and pray for is serving devotees, serving the servants. And your eyes aren't closed for long because you need to wake up at 2 a.m. to chant your rounds, praying, crying for Krishna. I pray to pray like you. Gurudev was leaving kirtan and you turned to me and said, it's moments like these that I would like to leave my body, because then I would be thinking of Krishna even just a little bit. Vallabhi gave me a gift on the last day of Kartik, My Daily Prayers by Shivaram Swami. The day after she left, I prayed that I would open this book and read something that would help. Dearest Vajrachandrika, this was/is one of my companions, and as we shared some lovely prayers this Kartik, I wanted to share this with you. Thank you for changing my life. I love you. True friends are never far apart, maybe in distance, but never in heart. Always here for you, with all my love, Vallabhi Dasi. So I opened it that day, and this is what came up. Prayers to Vrinda Devi. O virtuous Queen Vrinda, this person begs your permission to present his appeal before your king and queen. Please be kind and cast your merciful glance upon me, that I might approach them whose feet my heart has long yearned to attain. Prayer to the Vrajvasis. When, oh when will I serve Sri Radha's feet? O people of Braj, when will you show your compassion to me and take me with you to the forests of Vrindavan? I lost my dearest friend, but I gained far more than I could ever try and explain. I'll read her last entry of gratefulness in her diary. She wrote in this diary every single day for Kartik. 10th of November 2017. I'm grateful to have spent the evening hearing and chanting and associating at the feet of Govardhan. One time she messaged me and said, Vraja Chandrika, I need to tell you something, but I'll tell you in person tomorrow. And the next day she said, I just wanted to say that I love you. I used to say to you, imagine what it would be like to be Krishna conscious. And you would say, straight away, imagine what it would be like to be conscious. I pray with all of my heart that I can one day get even the most tiny drop of love, devotion, dedication, focus, steadiness, compassion, and pure bhakti that you had. For 6 weeks you shared all of these qualities with me, but I'm so unqualified I couldn't even identify them, what to speak of follow in your footsteps. Every day during Kartik, we sang Radha Kripa Kataksha Stava Raja, praying for the merciful sidelong glance of Radharani. This was your favorite part at the end. Nitya Leela Pravesham Cha Dadati Shri Vajadipa Ada Paratatam Pratyam Vaishnavasya Navidyate. Then that Lord of Vrindavan grants the devotee entrance into his eternal pastimes. Genuine Vaishnavas hanker for nothing beyond this. Vallabhi Dasi, there is something I need to tell you, but I'll have to wait and tell you in person. Your servant, Vraja Chandrika Dasi.
We'll ask Tarunji to sing now because he has to leave. So for 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Tarunji was one of her favorite kirtan singers who used to sit for hours, as I mentioned, and listen to him chant. So for her pleasure, we'll ask you to chant.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Jai Jai Shri Radha Ramana, Jai Jai Naval Kishore, जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभु जय जय माखन चोर राधे मेरी स्वामिनी मैं राधे जो को दास जन्म जन्म मोह दीजियो श्री वृंदावन को आइए 2 मिनट गुरु वंदना। मोहे लागी लगन गुरु चरणन के, मोहे लागी लगन गुरु चरणन के, मोहे लागी लगन गुरु चरणन के, मोहे लागे लगन गुरु चरण बिना मोहे कछु नहीं भावे, चरण बिना मोहे आचरण बिना मोहे कछु नहीं भावे, चरण बिना मोहे झूठी माया सपनन के, झूठी माया सपनन की, मोहे लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की, मोहे लागे। भवसागर सब सुख गयो है, भवसागर सब सुख भवसागर सब सुख गयो है, भवसागर फिकर नहीं मोह तरनन के, फिकर नहीं मोह तर। मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु दानी दानी न दानी दा पारे गा पारे कर निरसा। मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु आस लगी गुरु चरणन के, आस लगे गुरु चरणन के, मोहे लागे लगन गुरु चरणन के, मोहे लागे लगन गुरु चरणन के, मोहे लागे लगन गुरु चरण। जय गुरुदेव, जय गुरुदेव, जय गुरुदेव, जय गुरुदेव, जय गुरुदेव, जय गुरुदेव। ब्रज वल्लभी को जो भजन पसंद थे उसमें से मैं एक दो सुनाने जा रहा हूँ। जो है लागेला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला, मोरा मन तो सो लागेला, मोरा मन तो सो। लागेला 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 मोरा मन तो सो लागेला। लागेला लागेला लागे लागेला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला मोरा तुम बिन कल ना पड़त सावरा लागेला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला सावरे सूरत मेरो मन बस गयो रे सावरे सूरत सावरी सूरत मेरो मन बस गयो रे सावरी सूरत मेरो नींद बितारी हराए चना नींद बितारी हराए चना लागेला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला 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 सागा मागा मरे मरे नि दा दानी सागा गा मा पा गा मा धा पा मा गा मरे मा मरे जानी सा दानी सा गा मरे मरे नि दानी सा ला गेला लागेला लागे ला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला सावरे सूरत सावरी 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 सूरत मेरो मन बस गयो रे सावरी सूरत मेरो मन बस गयो रे सावरी सूरत मेरो मन बस गयो रे सावरी सूरत नींद बिचारी हराए चना लागेला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला मोरा मन तो सो लागेला गा मरे मरे नि द द नि सा नि द प मा ग मरे सा ग म प ग म द ग म प ग म रे सा ग म ध नि सा ग म रे नि द नि सा लागेला लागेला लागे ला मोरा मन तो सो सावरा ओ सावरा सावरा एक 2 मिनट का राधा रमन जी का 2 मिनट ओनली 2 मिनट जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमण हरि। जय जय राधा रमण प्यारो राधा रमण, जय जय राधा रमण, जय जय राधा रमण प्यारो राधा रमण, जय जय राधा रमण प्यारो, जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमण हरि। ओ जय जय राधा रमण प्यारो राधा रमण, जय जय राधा, जय जय राधा रमण प्यारो राधा रमण, जय जय राधा रमण प्यारो राधा रमण, जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल, 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 हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल। ओ हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल। जय जय श्री राधे, बोलो राधा रमण लाल की जय, निताई गौर हरि बोल।
Tunanji, it's very clear why Braja Vallabhi loved your kirtan so much. We must all follow her example and go every day to hear your kirtan. Radharamaji, thank you. We'll continue Vilas, and you can also read Mother Tarak's offering from Brisbane, South.
It's okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to read an offering, memories and appreciation from Mother Tarika in Brisbane. For those of you who don't know Tarika, she is very dear to Saki Roy's family. When Saki Roy, Rajalakshmi and their two daughters arrived in Brisbane in 1996, Tarika and her husband Tirtharaj Prabhu were temple president together, and they supported and nurtured Saki Roy's family as they came into contact with ISKCON. Tarika travelled to the Holy Dhams with the family while the girls were very young, and she took both girls under her wing, and in Saki Roy's words, was like a second mother to both of his daughters, and they're very indebted to her. So she's written some memories and appreciations and a message, which I'll read to you, and then I'll just share a few of my own as well. Dear Vaishnavas, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Vrindavan Dham. All glories to my little Vaishnavi family member, Vallabhi. It is with a heavy heart I say goodbye to you. Such a bright spark and so busy. It is quite unreal that I will never see you again in this life unless you visit me in dreams. Yesterday I went to the temple in the evening after work, and had a surreal chat with you and said goodbye to that beautiful, smiling girl. Last time we met, I had to be strong with you, asking you to please be kind to those with less capacity than you. And this was part of their relationship. I think Mother Tarika did have some strong words at times for Vallabhi. It is hard being enthusiastic and extremely intelligent, competent, and with a vision of how things should be in a perfect world of spreading Krishna consciousness. I have a lot of memories of you from your toddler days until your second initiation in Vrindavan a few years ago. I will treasure the times when you were tiny and you used to sit on my lap. I would tell you, please don't grow anymore. I want you to always sit on my lap. You did grow bigger and you grew into an independently thoughtful young woman. We shared experiences together with the other children, dramas, festivals, Sunday school recitals of Bhagavad-Gita, dress-up competitions, and so much more. Your family and Tirtharaj Prabhu and I travelled to the holy dhams when you were quite small and you tolerated some difficult moments and thrived as we see today. Your family taught me some culturally specific jokes on that trip, and I will never forget the laughter we shared on our trip from Vrindavan to Delhi Airport, joking all the way. Your childhood was such a wonderful experience of devotional immersion, as well as being an excellent student at school. Not even excellent, exceptional. And you were a great athlete as well. You loved to excel and you applied yourself to many extracurricular activities. We shared some of those loves and art was one of them. This year you showed me your latest drawing of Srila Prabhupada. The expression on his face was one of deep compassion and the profound love he possesses for the Lord. My words do not do justice to the rendering of his visage. However, you captured it. I was so proud of your application to seeking satisfaction in devotional service. I sometimes wondered if you were the same small munchkin I saw grow up. You were so fortunate to have such loving and qualified parents. And the adage proves the point that the fruit of the tree denotes the quality of the tree. I am ever respectful of the amazing, cultured, hardworking, devotionally intelligent family you were able to grow up in. I have had such good fortune to be part of the younger days of your life. Dear Vallabhi, please forgive me for my teacher reprimands if they were a mistake, or if I was too harsh and misjudged your advanced dedication to be youthful enthusiasm. It is hard for a conditioned soul like me, with eyes covered by affectionate familiarity, to know who is an elevated Vaishnav and who is a person at the beginning of a devotional trajectory. I hope in the washing up of the waters of the Jamuna against the bank, my over-familiarity is forgotten, and when we see each other, your arms and mine will entangle in a knowing embrace that the material world is a tricky place where what is spirit and what is matter is difficult to discern. My obeisances to you, Vallabhi, Shruti, your servant, Tarika Devi Dasi. So I was also very fortunate to serve in Tarika's Sunday school program, and Vallabhi was in my Sunday school class when she was 3 or 4 years old. And I have a photo of at home of Vallabhi as a 3 or 4-year-old. She was really small, very cute, sitting around a little table, and we were making a Govardhan hill out of Play-Doh together. And in the last few days, when I've learnt that as her devotion blossomed, particularly in the last few years, she became very attached to worshipping her own Giriraj, which would she worship every day, very attached to Govardhan. And as we know, she left our vision on her way to Govardhan Hill in the service of the Vaishnavas. So that photo of little Vallabhi will always be very dear to me. As a little girl, she was very sweet, very cute, fun-loving, and very, very, very enthusiastic. I saw Vallabhi grow up, but mostly I saw her from a distance. I did move away from Brisbane. But I know that whatever she did with great enthusiasm and energy. This year I had a few interactions with Vallabhi, which made me realise something had really changed in her. Her enthusiasm and energy was evident, and was, as always, but was channeled in a single direction, the service of her spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. I met her a few months ago at an outreach preaching program on the Gold Coast, which is near Brisbane. She'd come straight from work and she was leading kirtan. I talked to her after the program about how her life was going, and she'd graduated from university and she had a very good job. And she told me that actually her job was just to facilitate her service. She told me that she was very passionate about reaching out to the youth, that she'd been running the bus program for the previous 2 years. And she told me that she'd experienced some obstacles herself as a teenager and realised the importance for our youth in having friendships. And she wanted the other young devotees to not experience those difficulties that she had. She wanted to make it easy for them and connect them. And she was very, very, very passionate about connecting them to Krishna consciousness. And when she asked about my own daughter, who is a little distant, she promised to come to Sydney and take her out to lunch and not even talk about Krishna, just be a friend. So I could really feel that she had really imbibed the preaching spirit of her spiritual master and was deeply dedicated, and it was a real change. I hadn't seen this side of her before. When I arrived in Vrindavan just over about 10 days ago, I saw Vallabhi and gave her a big hug, and we talked, and I asked her how long she's staying in Vrindavan, and her reply was indefinitely. And I said, "What about your job on the Gold Coast?" And she said, I quit my job. And she said with even more determination, "I'm staying here in Vrindavan indefinitely." We didn't know, either of us, that those words would come true. But I could see, and the friend that I was with, we were quite taken back by her tone, and we could see that her heart was here. And although she was a young person, recently graduated, very qualified, very competent, she actually wasn't interested in personal career or personal gain. She was a very special soul. Although I still see her as a little girl in my Sunday school class, devotional service is not limited by age, position, and so on. In service and love for the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, and the holy Dhamma Vrindavan, she was without a doubt my senior, and I've learnt so much from her and also from her wonderful Vaishnav family. I offer my humble obeisances to Vallabhi Devi Dasi, along with her family, to all the devotees who supported her, and to our beloved spiritual master, Srila Indradumna Swami Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
To ask Bhakti Bringa Maharaj to speak.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm honored to be able to attend this memorial ceremony for Braja Vallabhi. And I guess I don't really know where to start. I think I'd like to start by offering my heartfelt obeisances and to Braja Vallabhi, and my condolences to Saki Roy and Braja Lakshmi and Kaishori Sindhu, for the loss of their beloved child and sister. When we come to Krishna consciousness, we enter into this dialogue, which is always going on. And the dialogue is about the continuity or the continuum of change in this material world. We know that everything this material, it has a beginning and it has an end. And at the same time, we enter into the dialogue of understanding the eternality of the soul. And we understand that the soul, it is Sanatan, or eternal. And that Krishna is Sanatan, he is eternal, and he lives in his Sanatan nature. And the objective of our lives is to go to Krishna and live with Krishna in that Sanatan world. When the change comes, like the change of passing from this world, when the materialistic people experience that change, there's shock, there's dismay, so many bad feelings. But when the Vaishnavas experience that change, naturally there's shock and there's dismay. But at the same time, there's joy, because we understand that a blessed soul like Braja Vallabhi has actually attained that goal, and she's entered into her eternal relationship with Krishna. It's a shock for all of us, and it's a joy. I was just speaking to Maharaj, and I said, I feel really embarrassed to stand here and speak because I didn't know Braja Vallabhi that well. And I'm hearing from the people that she lived with, that she served with, that loved her. And I'm hearing what a fantastic person she was, what a fantastic devotee she was. I've seen on, Facebook the past few days, just a flood of love for this very special soul, Braja Vallabhi, that touched so many people all over the world. All over the world. This morning I saw a comment by Urmila Mataji, and she was saying, it's inconceivable how many people's devotional service was impacted by Braja Vallabhi, how special she was. So it's a joy because she was blessed. She was blessed to be born in such a wonderful family. It's blessed that she grew up in Krishna consciousness. It's blessed because she had the opportunity to receive initiation from a bona fide spiritual master. She's blessed because she took shelter of the holy names of the Lord. She's blessed because she took so much relish in service. She just loved to serve. And even from my little contact and my little association with Braja Vallabhi, I just always saw her enthusiastic to serve. And I always saw that big, beautiful, brilliant smile on her face. I think she was like so beautiful externally, because it really reflected the beauty of such a wonderful soul, such a deep and wonderful soul. You know, maybe about 10 days ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, she came home one night. I'd been out on Prikram, and I was sitting on my back veranda, and I was worn out. And she came in with a big smile on her face, and she said, "We're ready to book your tickets." And I said, "Well, let me get my computer." I went over and got my computer. I said, "Let's check some flights." She reached in her pocket and said, "I have a credit card. I'm ready to buy the ticket." And while we were searching the flights, we started chatting a little bit. And she told me, I said, "What do you do?" She said, "Well, I graduated from university." And I said, I remembered her and her sister one time, and I was joking with them, trying to tell them apart by one wears glasses and one doesn't wear glasses. And then she told me, she said, "Well, I wear glasses too, but I've just got contacts in." And she said, "I graduated from university." She said, "I have a nice job." She said, "But before coming, I quit my job." She said, "I don't want that life." She said, "I don't want this life." She said, "The life I want is a life full of devotional service." She said, "That's what I want. I don't want to do a 9 to 5. I don't want to do this and that and the other. I just want to serve from morning till night." And then later I went to Indraduna Maharaj's house. I said, "Who is she?" She's some sort of like dynamic personality. And he said, "Yeah. She told me that she doesn't want to be married either. She doesn't want to go through the hassle of having babies. She just wants to serve." And I said, "Wow, that's so rare." So, such a blessed personality. And for many of us folks who, well, I guess we're sitting here in Vrindavan because we love Vrindavan. And, folks like me and Vishalini and Gunarnava, and we've had our, heads in the dust of Vrindavan for a long time. She loved Vrindavan. She really, really loved Vrindavan. And she loved Radharamanji. Many times when I would go down for my evening darshan of Radharaman, I would see her there, just standing, looking at Radharaman, with such focus, concentration. When I wrote about her passing the other day, and I wrote about the ceremony at the Jamuna, somebody gave a comment. They said that Padmanabh Goswami's son said she would always come to Radharaman and she'd write letters to give to Radharaman because she loved Radharamanji so much and she had so much faith in Radharaman. Now, we're all members of ISKCON and we all know the history, but Vishalini was here and Gunarna was here, I was here. 1977, when Srila Prabhupada was really ill, Srila Prabhupada, he was in Haridwar, and he felt very badly, and he said, take me to Vrindavan, I want to die. Actually, that was before I came, a month or so before I came. Gunarna was here, Vishalini was here. Devotees in Vrindavan, they didn't know that that was Prabhupada's intention. And when he arrived, he spoke to the devotees. He said, I've come to Vrindavan to die. He said, and if I die, there is no loss. He said, everything that needs to be said, I've already said. When Srila Prabhupada came back from his last trip to London, first he went to Bombay. And when he was in Bombay, there was so much discussion, you know. I mean, you listen to the conversations, the room conversations from 1977. People were trying to pull him to Mayapur. People were trying to pull him here. People were trying to pull him there. Srila Prabhupada said, Vrindavan is the best place to die. Let me go to Vrindavan. And Srila Prabhupada always told us that to be born in Vrindavan is good. To live in Vrindavan is better. To die in Vrindavan is best. And Vallabhi did it. When Srila Prabhupada passed away, we were all here and we were in a state of shock also, because we love Srila Prabhupada so much. And I remember my prayer has continued since that time. Srila Prabhupada bless me that I can be like you, and when the last breath comes, I'll be on the dust of Vrindavan. She did it. I read in Vrindavan Mahimamrita yesterday. Srila Prabodhananda Swami, he was speaking, and he was saying that Vrindavan is the most glorious tract of land on earth. Vrindavan is a treasure house, and it bestows all blessings upon all living beings. And the most glorious of all souls are those people who wander in Vrindavan, they love Vrindavan, and they give up their lives in Vrindavan. He said, those people are the crowns on the head of Vaishnavism. So we think, how fortunate is the life of this young lady? 23 years. Many of you know me. I'm not a very good speaker. I sit down to give a class. It takes me like 1 hour before I start to get into the groove. Srila Prabhupada, he'd give a class in 25 minutes and it would contain all the Vedas. You know, every sentence was a Vedic mantra, it was a sutra, it was like just packed with power. It takes me an hour even to think of where I'm going. I sit down in kirtan, it takes me hours just to focus my mind. What I've been trying to do for the past 46 years, she did it in 23 years. When I met Braja Chandrika at the hospital, when she told me that Braja had passed, Vallabhi had passed, first I was just overwhelmed with shock. And then I was thinking, she went back to Godhead. She absolutely went back to Godhead. You know, on the road to Govardhan, just near Radhakund, Radharani heard that prayer. All I want to do is service. And Radharani reached out and facilitated her blessed desire. So even though I didn't have much association with this blessed soul, I consider the moments that I did have to be great treasure. And I think that by what we hear today from everybody, you know, we should keep these things in our heart because people are speaking very valuable jewels today. And something that Braja Chandrika said really moved me, and it brought up a thought that I've often had. We hear about a Vaishnava, hear about a Vaishnavi that leaves this world, and we think, oh gosh, I should have told that person how much I loved them and how much I appreciated them before they left, but we didn't. So we're hearing the glories of a Vaishnavi today, a wonderful person. And I'd like to request all the devotees here, see the love that people have for this girl. See the love that she had for her spiritual master. See the love that she had for the service of Radharaman. See the love that she had for the service of ISKCON. And then look around you and see so many wonderful devotees who are really like that. And don't wait to really tell them, I love you. And don't wait to tell them how much you appreciate what they've done. Okay, thank you very much. Braja Vallabhi Devi Dasi ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Before Govinda Maharaj spoke, he said, I don't know what I'm going to say. So I said, speak from your heart. So in this way we can see Govinda Maharaj's heart so full of love and appreciation for the devotees and the service that they're doing. Thank you, Maharaj. I'm definitely not a speaker like Maharaj, so I'm a scripted devotee, so I wrote an offering. This won't be easy. My dear Braja Vallabhi, please accept my blessings. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Though you have departed this world, I pray that through the transcendental medium, my words will be communicated to you wherever you are serving, be it in this world or at the lotus feet of Radhashama Sundar in the spiritual world. I'm convinced it is in the latter For Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Mathura Mahatmya, quoting the Skanda Purana, Sarpa Dashta Pashu Hata Pavakambu Vinashita Labda Pramit Yavo Yecha Mature Mam Lokagaha. Those in Braj Mandala who are bitten by a snake, killed by animals, killed by fire, water, or any other unnatural cause, certainly become residents of my very own spiritual planet. My dear spiritual daughter, although I am your spiritual master, supposedly learned in Shastra and fixed in devotional service, nothing could prepare me for your sudden and unexpected departure. This is not a weakness, rather it is the nature of love. The love of a guru for his disciple and a disciple for her guru. In a letter on September 28, 1966, Srila Prabhupada wrote, "At his first sight of me, my spiritual master also saw me with such love. It was in my very first darshan of him that I learned how to love. It is his boundless mercy that he has engaged an unworthy person like me in fulfilling some of his desires. It is his causeless mercy to engage me in preaching the message of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath. In the same way, Vallabhi, it was from your love for me, demonstrated through your continuous selfless service, that my appreciation and love for you as my spiritual daughter manifested. Because of your inherent talents recognized by one and all, you were instrumental in the organization and running of all my major preaching programs for many years. From the Festival of India in Poland to Krishna's Village of Peace at Woodstock, throughout the grand festivals in Gujarat and Maharashtra, and here in Vrindavan during Kartik, I can honestly say I would not have been successful without you. I was fully dependent on your service in helping me preach Krishna consciousness around the world. What will I do now that you are gone? It was in this mood that Srila Prabhupada wrote to a disciple on January 22nd, 1976, quote, "You cannot survive without my mercy, and I cannot survive without your mercy. It is reciprocal. This mutual dependence is based on love, Krishna consciousness. Indeed, I was always aware of your excellence in service. Whenever a difficult task came up, such as organizing the Sacred Sounds Kirtan Mela at New Govardhan, it was enough to simply say to you, 'Vallabhi, please get it done.' Things won't be so easy now that you're gone, and not as relishable either. It was your joyful smile, your enthusiasm, and your determination to please others that made performing devotional service such a pleasure in your association. My dear spiritual daughter, I cannot properly express how much I will miss you. Once again, the wisdom of the poet George Eliot rings true. Only in the agony of parting do we look into the depths of love. Dearest Vallabhi, some of my fondest memories will be of our time spent here in this holy abode of Sri Vrindavan Dham. For many years you assisted Rasika Siromani and her husband Govinda Charandas in organizing large Kartik parikramas. It was an overwhelming task, to say the least, but nevertheless you always found time to sit and hear the lectures and relish the kirtans of the holy names. Just the other night you said to a friend during a particularly enthusiastic bhajan, 'I would be happy to leave my body in the midst of such beautiful singing of the holy names.' And in essence, that's exactly what you did. On that fateful day you departed, you were on your way to the holy name retreat at Govardhan Hill. Devotees who were in the vehicle with you told me you were enthusiastically chanting japa all the way, just minutes away from Radhakund, and then the accident happened. You left your body immediately. Though it was a tragic demise, it enabled you to achieve your heart's desire. Such is the all-merciful nature of Vrindavan. Sri Rupa Goswami writes in Utkalika Valari, O handsome, fragrant tamal tree, blooming in the Vrindavan forest and embraced by the Madhavi vine of the goddess ruling this forest. O tree, the shade of whose glory protects the world from a host of burning sufferings, what wonderful fruits do the people find at your feet? You were born into a family of devotees, you lived a fully Krishna-conscious life, and you departed in the holy Dham of Vrindavan chanting the holy names. Let me now describe in detail your journey from that point on. Most surely it corresponds with Srila Rupa Goswami's description of entering into the eternal realm of Vrindavan in his famous poem, Uddhava Sandesh. Krishna is speaking to Uddhava. O my brother, the path you will follow to faraway Nandeshwari hill is said to be beautiful, straight, and good. When you fall into the ocean of bliss in Gokula, I will become very happy. When a friend becomes happy, good persons think themselves happy too. First, you should go to the place called Gokarna, where Lord Shiva, who captains the ship that leads people out of the ocean of troubles, stays. O wise one, nearby you should go to the place where the Jamuna meets the Saraswati, a place that fulfills the living entity's desires. It is in this place that I first entered Mathura. There I was kissed by waves of sidelong glances from a host of beautiful women who said, O slender friend, we have become most fortunate, for the graceful flutist whose music made the gopis' garments slip now walks on the pathway of our eyes. From that place, flooded with bliss, please take the nearby path to Ambikavana, where, rescuing Nanda from a snake in the Kaliya lake and delivering a Vidyadhara, I gave a festival of happiness to the cowherd girls of Braja. O wise one, don't take your chariot on the path that goes to the hilly place on the Jamuna's bank, where Kuvalyapita again and again attacked me with his tusks. Saintly persons never take the paths where the demoniac walk. Avoid the southern path. Go north to the king of holy places, a place beautiful with many blossoming sumana flowers and graceful birds, the place where, by my mercy, Akura first saw the world of the Gopas. Even if you don't wish to pass by the doors of the Yajnik Brahmanas, who, because they slighted me, are not dear to you, you should still glance at the Brahmanas' wives, who are always singing my glories. If you do not wish to see them, your eyes will be cheated of something very valuable. Then please go quickly to the place named Kotika, which is near Mathura city, and which is filled with a great circle of blossoming trees. When I walked through that place, a girl picking flowers uncovered part of her shoulder and smiled at me. Dearest Vallabhi, Srila Rupa Goswami's beautiful description of a pilgrim's journey into Vrindavan continues in his poem, as will the Lord's mercy upon you, as he guides you further on this path of pure devotion to his lotus feet. As such, your love for Vrindavan and the divine couple will blossom day by day. Such things are attainable for those who follow our beloved Srila Prabhupada, as he indicated to one of my god sisters early in the movement. Quote, as your devotional service becomes mature, you shall see Krishna more and more you shall realize the qualities of the holy land of Vrindavan. Dearest Vallabhi, I once asked my godmother, Tamal Krishna Goswami, what is the most important characteristic of a disciple? He immediately replied, Guru Nishta, faith in the spiritual master. You embodied that faith, and it was your most endearing quality. I then asked him, what is the greatest challenge in becoming an initiating spiritual master? He paused for a moment and then replied softly, sometimes you are obliged to accept disciples who are more advanced than yourself. I'm so fortunate to have you and so many others like you as my disciples. I will never forget you. Your final words to me and a prophetic message, texted only minutes before you left this world, will always remain with me. We have been discussing how we'd soon be serving in different countries. Little did we know it would be in different worlds. You wrote, Gurudev, I'll be waiting to serve you. Please be patient, Vallabhi. I'll be home soon enough. And as Srila Prabhupada said, one day we'll have our ISKCON in the spiritual world. Your ever well-wisher, Indraduma Swami. Kaishori.
I'm also going to read one from Vallabhi's very, very dear friend in England, Jai Gaurangi. To my dearest Braja Vallabhi, please accept my heartfelt obeisances. Although I've written you so many letters in the past, I never thought I'd be here, now, writing a letter to you, to your spiritual form. Our journey together began in Vrindavan a few years ago, nourished by spiritual mercy, strengthened by the ties of the Dham, and sealed by your beloved Radha Ramanji. As soon as we met, we felt instantly connected, as if picking up from a past lifetime together. A friendship born in the Dham, our love for you increased with every moment we spent with you. Your effulgent smile, simple mood of service and surrender, and your deep and loving nature has affected so many souls that were drawn to the purity of your devoted heart. Vallabhi, you are like a well of love. No matter how many bucketfuls of love you give away to those who need you, you always had more to give, even when it left you feeling parched. Your life's essence was to serve, always running from service to service. You only ever felt satisfied when fully engaged. Thank you, dear friend, for setting an example of what it means to be the perfect Vaishnavi, perfect disciple, perfect daughter, perfect sister, and perfect friend. Your love encouraged growth, inspired hope, and gave me faith in my ability to achieve anything I desired. Your association will be deeply missed. We will miss those dusty, mercy-soaked devotional days in the Dham, cuddling the calves and walking on parikram together. We will miss those entertaining nights sitting on Kaishori's bed, laughing so hard that eventually Mother Rajalakshmi woke to come and see what was going on. We will miss talking to you for hours on FaceTime, your sweet birthday messages and loving exchanges. We will miss your crazy, twirling, spinning, jubilant dancing. We will miss your smile, your laugh, your hugs, and everything else in between. We will always fondly remember every single interaction we were fortunate enough to share with you and treasure them within our hearts, until the day we meet again. I love how you always used to start and finish our conversations with, "I love you." Those 3 words were enough to give me strength to push through any of life's difficulties. With every interaction, we learned something new about your beautiful and intricate heart. Your life was an offering to your beloved Lord. Every decision you made was based on service to Vraj and your dear Gurudev. You lived your life fully, deeply, consciously at every moment, and you inspired us to do the same. If there's one thing we know for sure, it's that you are exactly where you are meant to be, continuing your selfless services in the direct association of your beloved Giriraj and Radha Raman. Yet nothing could have prepared us for the heartbreak we were to endure through your departure. The pain of long-distance friendships means we have often experienced the pangs of painful departures and the joys of long-awaited reunions, but this time it's different. This time we're left with a hole in our hearts, a hole that yearns to be filled with your laughter, your friendship, and your love. This time it's different. This time we won't reunite at Gatwick Airport or Brisbane Airport, but this time we will reunite at the gates of Goloka, honestly holding your friendship as our ticket to enter the spiritual world. So today, we say goodbye to you, our dear friend. But what we know for sure is that this is certainly not the end. This goodbye is just until that joyful day that we meet once again. Your last words to me 2 days before you passed were, "My life would have been so much less bright had I not met you, missing you like crazy this Kartik. Little did I know that my life was about to become less bright, and I'll be missing you like crazy until we meet again. Vallabhi, we will always love you, and we promise to look after those you leave behind. With heartfelt gratitude, always, your servants Jai Gaurangi and Rasa Vilas." Dearest Braja Vallabhi, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Srila Gurudev, it's only because of you that we are here today, celebrating this glorious occasion. You were the one that propelled Vallabhi into Krishna consciousness. You were the one that kept the fire of bhakti burning bright inside her, and you were the one to see her departure was a glorious occasion befitting a genuine Vaishnavi. For this, we are eternally indebted to you. I've written things to you before, but I always had a chance to give them to you. But now I hope you'll hear this from your eternal service, if you can manage to take a break. The whole world knows you as Vallabhi Devi Dasi, the darling, ever helpful, always on your feet, smiling and sincere gopi of Vraja. But I have the fortune of knowing you for the last 23 years, as a sister, guide, and confidant. You came into this world 2 weeks early on Mahashivratri, and growing up, our family often joked that because of this, you inherited Lord Shiva's transcendental anger. From your childhood, we knew you were a special child, with your astute intelligence, frequent tantrums, and refusal to eat. Our family will often remember how you would retreat, not always quietly, when things didn't go your way. We called this Kop Bhavan, or anger chamber, similar to the room Queen Kaikai went to when she was angry with King Dasharath in the Ramayana. As cousins would sometimes taunt you, preempting the tears flooding from your eyes and shouting, lights, camera, sound, action, and then the tears would fall. You were and still are the brightest light of the Sheth family, the apple of everyone's eye. As you grew up, you excelled in everything: school, gymnastics, making your parents proud. Straight A's, national level gymnastics champion, there was no stone you left unturned. It continued through to university, where you received not just one, but 2 scholarships to study. And throughout this time, you were the best little sister, always hanging around, always ready to play in my imaginary games, always ready to annoy mom and dad. I would drag you along to anything, and you would always oblige. When I think of you, I definitely think of the Vallabhi in the last 6 years, and I also think about the Shruti that I have known for 17 years before that. And while it was punctuated with lots of joy, laughter, and love, it was also characterized by your other strong qualities. Perspective is the key in any situation, and today I wish to glorify the transformation in you. I feel like the turning point was our trip to India in December 2011. We went with friends all around India, our first long trip without mum and dad. Everyone knew it was a serious spiritual trip with little faffing around, with places like Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Ahovalam, Tirupati, Sri Rangam, Udupi, Rishikesh, and Vrindavan on the itinerary. We all had ample opportunities to remember the Lord, each step of the way. At the beginning of the trip, you made clear intentions to work on your sadhana, and they have remained set in stone until now. It was here that you chose Krishna consciousness as your life and soul. When you came back, it was clear to everyone that you were no longer the ribbon-twirling little Shruti, but had now blossomed into a mature lady. You lived the next 6 years of your life with such conviction, your shining quality that I always lamented I didn't have, Guru Nishta. You surpassed all 3 of us with your bhakti, always climbing up and never for a moment slipping down. You served Srila Gurudev with such enthusiasm, intensity, and conviction, following him on Polish tour, Kartik Parikrama, Gujarat tour, Sadhu Sangha, and Sacred Sound Retreat. Everyone in Brisbane knew that you didn't really live there, but just visited in between your many spiritual adventures. And even when you were at home, you didn't rest. You still kept busy, serving Sri Sri Gauranitai, serving Vaishnavas at home, and serving our family. You often said that you felt like you didn't have many friends. You were never interested in anything mundane, always wanting to engage in service, be in kirtan, engage in more service, associate with Vaishnavas, engage in more service, inspire others, and engage in more service. In the last few years, you really transformed, both your internal mood and your external relationships. You made a real and genuine effort to work on your internal struggles, and it was clear to everyone that what you wrote or said, you truly lived and imbibed. You were younger than me in age by 5 years, but you were actually older than me in every other sense. You advised me on my fashion sense. You gave me comfort when I went through struggles. You gave me direction in life, and most importantly, you have been my biggest spiritual inspiration. In the last few months, you were inspirational on another level. Your sadhana was incomparable, chanting your rounds with full attention, daily puja to Giriraj, offering him the most exquisite turbans, a concerted effort to study Srila Prabhupada's books, and listening to lectures. On top of this, the service that you rendered, helping Rasika on Kartik Parikrama, assisting to organize a sacred sound retreat, inspiring local youth by taking them on trips, organizing the first Australian youth bus tour, assisting various senior devotees around the world with a wider range of things, transcribing books, lectures, arranging flights, accommodation. The list is endless. Your love for Radharaman was something I could never understand. Even after a full and tiring day of service, you never failed to see Radharaman in his last darshan. Just this morning, we went to Radharaman, and someone explained this to us. Bhake Bihari is the Thakur of when Krishna killed Kamsa. So many people came to witness this event, and so it is such a popular temple. Govindaji is the Thakur of the Gocharan Leela, and the number of people that witnessed this was less, so the temple is not as popular. Radharaman is the Thakur of the Ras Leela. Very few witnessed this event, and so only the most confidential gopis come to take darshan of Radharaman. Vallabhi, you are his favorite gopi, and now he's called you to be with him. That's because you gave everything to him and asked him to accept you. You put your heart in your hands and placed it at his feet. His plans were your plans. I'm happy for you, but I'm crying for all of us. We are left without you. So today I pray to you. I pray to you to reveal who my Ishtadev is. You have your Radharaman, but please show me who is the Lord of my heart. I pray to you for strength in maintaining my sadhana, that I can daily and attentively perform my Nam Bhajan, Shastra study, and develop an attraction towards deity worship. I pray to you for strength and endurance in my service, that I lose taste for all things mundane and only want to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. I pray to have the ability to put myself last and keep the interests of others first, like you did. I pray to you for a drop of the Guru Nishta that you have. The list can go on, but I'll ask for these things this year, and then review the situation next year. If I'm worthy, then please bless me to continue serving you. I will now begin to feel what it is like to serve and love in separation. Thank you for teaching me this highest principle of bhakti. I'm sorry I didn't recognize the budding seed of bhakti in you while you were growing up. Please forgive me for all the many offenses to you. I'll miss you more than you know and more than I show. You're not with me anymore, but I'll always think, what would Vallabhi do?
Is Vanamali here? He's not here. Okay. Champakalata?
I'm actually here to share the offering from my mother, Urmila Mataji. And I was so touched to see that Braj Vallabhi's Govardhan is here, because just after her departure, every time my mother spoke to me about her, she would say over and over again, she was a devotee of Govardhan. She was a devotee of Giriraj. Early in the morning, she sits next to her Giriraj's altar. Her focus, her love, her expertise, and her dedication are evident in every movement, every adjusting of Giriraj's turban. Later in the day, conversations with her can be deep, and the strings of her heart instrument vibrate a clear longing for prema bhakti, evident in the words she speaks. And yet, the next moment, she is laser-sharp energy, organizing a bus tour for devotee youth. Her intent is completely on those youth she is serving. Will they be happy? Will they be spiritually enlivened? Will they have what they need? Braja Vallabhi's synthesis of internal Krishna-conscious absorption and external high-powered leadership in service is extraordinary. Even for those she hardly knows, she cheerfully sacrifices her time and energy to facilitate their service, while always crying inside to the Lord for mercy and grace. Thousands of devotees in many places mourn her passing and feel as if a hole has been torn in their heart. One wonders, how could she have positively inspired so many people with so much love? She doesn't fit the stereotypical idea of an internationally highly respected devotee, an elderly sannyasi who has preached for decades. Rather, she was young, not yet married, a woman not famous for leading kirtans or speaking on Shastra. In reading what close friends and acquaintances say about her, we find a little of the answer to this mystery. Braja Vallabhi was an energy giver, not a taker. She was personified sunshine, inspiration, and enthusiasm. She gave all, but without apparent strain or effort. Just a few minutes with her would raise your own consciousness and joy. She was an efficient and effective leader in the mood of a voluntary servant. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta tells us not to try and see God, but to act in such a way that God will want to see us. We're not really surprised that Krishna noticed her, a dedicated servant of his servants. He noticed her so much that he must have been impatient for her to be in his company. We who are left without her are awed and inspired by her success achieved so early in her life. Yet there is no pain greater than that of separation from a Vaishnava. That pain of separation from her mixes with our joy at her success. We turn back to our business of daily living, a bit more aware, a bit more grateful, a bit more loving, and a bit more determined to try to follow her example, even to some degree. Being merciful upon me, Krishna gave me the association of Braja Vallabhi Devi Dasi. Being independent in his desires, he has now broken that association. Your servant, Urmila Devi Dasi. I also wanted to share an offering from my niece, Tarni. She's 15 years old, and she's one of the thousands that Braja Vallabhi touched, even though her association with her was very brief. Braja Vallabhi went out of her way last year to get a seat for my niece on the bus tour in Australia, even though she wasn't, supposed to be on it. It wasn't planned. She wrote, "Nobody knows the Lord's plan, but I can say that I am sure you are in a better place. Even though I only spent a little time with you, I knew from the moment I met you that you were such a special person. The more time I spent with you, the more you inspired me. I will never forget how kind, strong, and loving you were. Oh, and I can't forget your beautiful, bright smile. I have nothing but good memories of you, and I will cherish the moments I had with you forever. I am so lucky that I was able to have your association. My heart goes out to your family and close friends. My pain is nothing compared to theirs. The world was a better place with you. I love you, Braja Vallabhi, forever and always." So I think for all of those like myself who never had the good fortune of personally meeting her, we can say that the association of a pure devotee has a ripple effect. And even by contact with someone who's had contact with them, we can feel so enlivened in our spiritual lives. And like my mother said, we can try to be a little more devoted, a little bit more loving, better servants of our Guru. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. As our beloved spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Srimad Indraduna Swami Maharaj, had mentioned earlier, in the spiritual world there is a festival every day. And I have also heard him explain that when devotees return to the spiritual world, a great festival is organized to welcome them to their home. So on this day that we are experiencing pangs of separation, we can gain some solace, wondering how wonderful and beautiful that festival must be happening in Golok, welcoming home our dear Vallabhi Devi Dasi. Amongst followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, followers of Srila Prabhupada, the greatest goal of every devotee is not necessarily to return home. Rather, our goal is to become a perfect disciple of our beloved spiritual master, and by doing so, returning home is an automatic result. I would like to offer these 8 prayers to the lotus feet of Her Grace Vallabhi Devi. When upon taking darshan of the host of wonderful transcendentalized articles that have come in contact with the bodies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and their direct disciples, worshipped by our dear friend Varun, and your voice faltered, your body shook uncontrollably, and you could not take your eyes away from that wonderful darshan, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When, with tears in your eyes and a smile from ear to ear, you informed me that that same Varun had given you a thread of Nityananda Prabhu's own turban, and that now you wore it in a locket around your neck, understanding your good fortune and qualification, you must hold to receive such mercy, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When upon the day of your initiation, your beloved Srinivas Baba came and sat at the ceremony, after which he blessed you with all his collective accumulated credits from a life of serving Gopal Bhatt Goswami, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When I finally understood that tears from your eyes were not an uncommon occurrence when gazing upon the gorgeous form of your beloved Radharamanji, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When by chance you shared with me a glimpse of your wonderful diary that you always scribbled in, and so I saw the nature of your prayers and realizations, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When in Australia, while glorifying his disciples, our beloved Srila Gurudev said that with disciples like Nandini Rasika and you, he could accomplish anything. Witnessing you being placed upon that list of Mahajans, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When upon the day that I arrived in Vrindavan, I received a call from Sundar Anand Prabhu, and he informed me that you had completed your services here in this world, and that you have departed from the foot of your beloved Giriraj. I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with the dust of your lotus feet. When on the day of your body's cremation, I made my way to Srinivas Baba to invite him to come and give you his blessings in person for a safe departure, and he could simply not come out of pain. And when I tried to insist and I saw his body slouch and flow of tears across his face, as he begged me not to push him any further, I could understand that you were indeed a shining moon amongst the disciples of your beloved master, and so I decorate my head with your lotus feet. Of all the wonderful gifts that our beloved master has given us, our exalted God brothers and God sisters are his greatest gifts. And amongst those wonderful Vaishnavas, you are a shining moon. Kindly continue to shine down the cooling rays of your mercy to soothe the burning of material desires within our hearts. I know you are not one to notice offenses made towards you, much less to remember them. My humble request is to forgive me. And if I may make one more request, please offer my respectful obeisances to my beloved mother, who no doubt was there to receive you. Your servant.
Advaita Simha.
Vallabhi Devi Dasi ki jai. So Vallabhi's family and my family have a friendship that goes back many years. And Vallabhi was particularly dear to my mother, Karunika Devi Dasi, who spoke previously. Vallabhi and I had a friendship where we used to sometimes share our realizations. She was always very, very deep. She was very dedicated to her Gurudev, and she was always talking about devotional service. So I thought the best thing to do would just be to read her own words, because this year on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja Day, she emailed me her offering to Srila Prabhupada, and I thought I could read that to give us a glimpse into her own realizations. So she writes, Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most respectful obeisances to your lotus feet on this divine occasion of your appearance. It has been some years since I have attempted to write a formal offering to you on this wonderful occasion of your Vyasa Puja. Time has passed, and along with its passing, for the first time in a long time, I feel closer to you. The more I meditate on your glories and the more I struggle with adversity in my own sadhana, it allows my gratitude and respect for you to increase again and again as I try and conceive of the way in which you have changed this world and changed my life. You have saved me and saved this whole world by granting us the only escape from the miseries of the material world, by building us this ISKCON house in which we can all live. Your compassion for the lowest of the fallen, your empowering words, your faith in your spiritual master, your utmost humility, care, grace, and your love for each and every one of us, no matter how much I try, there is no way I can conceive the full extent of these qualities in you. This quality of care and compassion that you have shown to your disciples and through them that you show to me, although I can't aptly describe the glory, in a letter to your disciple Tejas Prabhu, the words you wrote changed my life, and I am certain that they will change the life of anyone who reads them. This was her favorite letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote, and this was the favorite part of that letter that he wrote. Srila Prabhupada writes, I am very much disturbed to hear from you that you have become disturbed in mind. Do not be disturbed. There is no cause for anxiety. You are doing your best to serve Krishna. That is very much appreciated. So do not lose enthusiasm out of frustration. That will spoil everything. Krishna consciousness means we should always be satisfied and happy, not that we must work something impossible, becoming overburdened, and then because we are unhappy by so much trouble, we lose enthusiasm altogether and give up all hope. Krishna does not like to see his sincere devotees suffer or become frustrated or depressed. He will not stand idly by in any such case, so do not fear on that account. Krishna has got some plan for you. Always think in that way, and very soon he will provide everything to your heart's desire. These words alone embody your qualities of compassion, empowerment, encouragement, and pure love to such an extent that I cannot conceive who you really are, and more so, how I have received this great fortune of your association through your spiritual family, your lectures, books, and with this opportunity to serve you. Thank you for this spiritual family, Srila Prabhupada, for your unconditional shelter, and in this material world for giving me hope against hope, forever indebted to your mercy, and eternally desiring to serve you and this ISKCON family with love, respect, and growing desperation to serve you, your spiritual granddaughter, Vallabhi Devi Dasi. Vallabhi Devi Dasi ki jai.
Svalakshana?
Me and my friends were so fortunate to know Vallabhi, and to head her association. And over the last few days, we were constantly thinking about her and trying to realize how special soul was she. And me personally, I understood that each of my exchanges with her had a deep influence on me and changed my life. And I want to share some of them. First time I saw her on the Polish tour was like 6 years ago. And I noticed her immediately because she was so beautiful, so blessed, and despite of her young age, she was so dedicated to serve. That's why she was always engaged in devotional service. And first thing I was bewitched and charmed by was that she was so small and cute, was washing huge buckets after prasadam every night after we came from our festivals. My next memory of her, which was a turning point in my understanding of a real Vaishnava, was our talk also on the Polish tour in the shower at night time after one of the festivals. It was the half of the tour, and everybody already were quite tired and exhausted. And my only desire was to sleep. And those who have been ever on the tour knows that days you can be excused in anything if you want to sleep. So one of the days I went to the shower quite late night to be able to get in it without a queue. And I was alone there, but suddenly entered Vallabhi with a bucket of clothes that she wore today and washing powder. I looked at her like it crazy. Are you really going to wash your clothes now? Go to sleep. She said, yes, I do it every day. I asked, but why? This is Polish tour. Each minute of the sleep is so valuable. You can do it tomorrow or before festival or at the day off. She said, no, I can't. I never leave dirty clothes for tomorrow. I just can't. And that moment I realized how clean and pure a person should be, not to be able to leave dirty clothes just for one day, even in such circumstances. She was a real, genuine Brahmana. And that time she was only 17 and was not even initiated. Our next exchange is still a source of my inspiration. And it was when she came also one day on the Polish tour to me and Shama Vallabhi and offered to stay in her flat in Vrindavan. She said, please, come to Vrindavan and stay in our flat for free. This is our family's seva for Vaishnavas. We were shocked. She was born in a family of real Vaishnavas and she had association with Srila Prabhupada's disciples since her childhood. And she naturally understood who was real exalted souls, and she offers her flat to such inconvenient devotees, even not devotees. We were that time just trying to become a devotee, struggling so much. And she really saw all more or less devotees as Vaishnavas, and she didn't make any differences. I can't stop admire her. My next memories about her are connected with Kartik month in Vrindavan. All these years we were observed her with admiration. She was doing more service than all of us taken together. But for me, most impressive was her service, was that service. She was while everybody had their days off or free time, she had such a service. She picked up all sick devotees and took them to the doctor. Just imagine, all month you deal with 300 devotees. Most of them are Russian, who are not easy to be satisfied. And I must say that this service, to take them to the doctor, requires you endless patience, and you should have genuine love for all living beings to be able to do that service all months, constantly. Just imagine. She was really fully dedicated to her service to Srila Gurudev. She was an amazing Vaishnavi, and she never gave a chance to serve her. She had a real glorious life, and analyzing all her life, we, with my friends, can say that such level of Krishna consciousness in such a young age is without any doubt is a result of the endeavors of her parents. All credit goes to them, Sakya Rai Prabhu and Vrajalakshmi Mataji. They are the most humble devotees we have ever seen. We were shocked when we first understood that Mataji, who was always sweeping the floor before the prasadam distribution and then serving prasadam to the devotees, was her mother. And that Prabhu, that humble Prabhu, was always serving prasadam and do humble service to all devotees, is her father. That's why we pay obeisances to her parents. Vallabhi is a fruit in the tree of bhakti. We bow down 1,000 times to them, and we say thank you for such a gift as Vallabhi that they gave to the world.
Sundarananda?
Hare Krishna. So, feeling really inadequate to describe somebody who's so much greater and better. And in the presence of those who have Divya Gyan and spiritual eyes, they can see much more. But still I feel honored to be able to speak her name and a few things which I thought of. Srila Prabhupada has described bhakti as loving devotional service. And the thing is, Vallabhi, she understood the loving part. And she added it to every element of service to equally to her puja, the worship of Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, and to Vrajdham, and to the Vaishnavas, and to organizing the parikramas. She applied this loving devotional service to her dealings with everybody. And this sort of love is also her benediction to us, because she has lovingly placed herself in our hearts. So Narottam Das Thakur says that Darshine pavitra karo e tumhara gun. So just see, just by looking at her picture, just by remembering her, we become purified. We remember Radha Raman. And sometimes when we feel in this cruel world in a forlorn, desolated state, we can remember her and feel loved. So, a long, long time ago, her parents, Sakirai Prabhu and Braja Lakshmi Mataji, they gave a gift to Krishna. These are my children, I give them to you. They had no other desire. Their children, their home, everything, they gave it to Krishna, to Guru and Krishna. So, and Shri Gurudev has mentioned many times that to give a gift of something that's very dear to you is the greatest gift. And that's what they have done. When their children were little, they had this vision only, this only desire, my children should serve Krishna. Our children should serve Krishna. So, most of us on the planet are here. Those who are devotees who are trying to be purified. Others are not even trying, but everybody is on this path of purification. But some people, they appear to purify others. Their entire life is dedicated to purifying others. And such a soul was Vallabhi. Recently, actually last week, Agni Deva Prabhu, he told me, he said, when we speak of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in the association of devotees, we enter into the pastimes. During those moments, we enter into the pastimes of those associates and Lord Chaitanya. Because Lord Nityananda is so very merciful. So too we can remember and be inspired by the devotional service of Vallabhi Devi Dasi, who is no doubt an associate of Lord Chaitanya in the service of Radha and Krishna. Certainly she has inspired me even more now. And I can say for the umpteenth time, I'm back. Recently, I wrote to Braja Vallabhi on Messenger. I said, or before that, I'll say something else. When Keshari got married, a week later I got a call. I was very surprised to get a call from Vallabhi on a Saturday afternoon from the Gold Coast. She said, Sundar Kaka. I said, I'm so surprised. How are you? And so on and so on. And then she said, you remember Kaishori used to call you every week to see if you're eating healthy food and taking care of your health. Well, now she's married, I'm going to do that. So I can say, Vallabhi, I will remember you every time, and I will eat healthy. We also had a lot of discussions on how she was frustrated with, the job at the Gold Coast and what she wanted to do and so forth. And she had those discussions with so many people, Karunika Mataji and so forth. But then she figured it out, that if you're on the road to the Gold Coast, you go to the Gold Coast. If you're on the road to Govardhan, you go to Govardhan. She figured it out. And then I wrote to her on Messenger one day, not long ago, during the Kartik Parikram. I said, Vallabhi, I need something from Braj, and I can only ask you for it. She said, sure, what is it? Just tell me. I said, are you sure you're not too busy? She said, no, I'll do it. I'll bring it with me. She said, what is it? I said, I want you to sing Sat Goswami Ashtakam, record it and send me the recording. She said, me, sing? I said, yes, you sing for me, and send it on a USB, on iCloud, or on SoundCloud, whatever it is, I'll figure it out. So she said, okay, I'll do it. I said, you promised? She said, yeah, I'll do it. So for that one, Braja Vallabhi, please call me back. And the last thing that I said to her, and she said to me, Govinda Maharaj will be happy to hear, I said, I love you. And she said, I love you too. Those were the last words we spoke. I I mean, this, what I'm going to say now, maybe, I don't know about parameters, because I'm not very educated in spiritual knowledge, but I think that when Krishna saw Braj Vallabhi dressed as a Gopa on Gopashtami, serving the devotees and serving the Dham, he couldn't stand the separation anymore.
Damashri?
Харе Кришна, дорогие преданные. Когда мне об этом сообщила моя духовная сестра, первый возглас, который у меня вырвался: какое счастье! Ни старости, ни болезней, ни якорей в лице детей и внуков.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, when I get that message that Vraja Vallabhi left her body, the only message that came out of my mouth, it was what the happiness, no elder age, no diseases.
Но потом я подумала, какая боль и утрата для преданных, для Гурудева и для польского фестиваля.
But then I thought, what a great loss for all the devotees, for spiritual masters, and for Polish tour festivals.
Один раз я проходила около сцены на польском фестивале и остановилась, увидев такое удивительное выступление.
Once during Polish festival, I passed by the stage and I saw that wonderful play on the stage.
Девушка в роли обезьяны спрыгнула с высоты более 2 метров, и она не просто спрыгнула, и при этом она сделала самый сложный акробатический элемент, двойное сальто прокрутила, потом фляг, села на продольный шпагат и сделала еще много-много очень сложных элементов акробатических.
I was impressed how the young lady jumped from the 2-meter high and make some salto and then very difficult acrobatic moves, and I was really impressed with that.
И я подумала, вот это да, это же мастер международного класса.
And I was thought to myself, she is kind of master of international competitions.
Я стала ее всюду замечать, как она прекрасна и все делает так же классно и мастерски.
Since that time, I noticed her from everywhere and just appreciate her.
И она всегда была одета в сари, каждый день в другом, и сари была одета всегда безупречно, совершенно особым образом, и голова покрыта. Я удивлялась, как у нее на голове всегда держится сари.
And she always wears sari and in a very proper way with a covered head. And I was always wondering how the saris could keep on your head always.
И при этом ни тени желания пратишки, ни тени желания пуджи и ни тени желания утвердиться за счет других преданных. Никогда я ее не видела раздраженной или уставшей.
Nevertheless, I didn't saw her any desire of self-realization or any expression of the adoration. Sorry.
Когда увидела ее проводы, я испытала чувство гордости за своего гуру, что я его ученица. Я подумала, Гурудеву удалось так много своих учениц проводить в духовный мир. Может быть, мне посчастливится, что прольет на меня Радхарани свою милость и милость преданных.
When I saw the last ceremony near Yamuna, I feel pride that I'm a disciple of such spiritual master who who passes to the last way, to the last destination, her disciples. And I thought to myself, maybe I would be also such a luckiest person to get this last way when Gurudev will attend it.
Я подумала, эта освобожденная душа пришла из духовного мира и исполнила свою роль в лилах Гурудева как один короткий, прекрасный танец и вернулась в свое изначальное положение. Я буду медитировать на ее качество и хотела бы поставить ее на свой алтарь, если Гурудев не против.
And when I'm thinking about Raja Vallabhi, I'm thinking about her as a liberated soul who come to Gurudev's Leelas to perform her wonderful dance. And I always will be thinking about her wonderful qualities. And I would, if Srila Gurudev will allow me, I would put her on my altar and will worship her wonderful characteristic qualities.
Спасибо вам большое, дорогие преданные, что вы проливаете на меня свою милость, позволяете мне жить какое-то время во Вриндаване и заниматься очень незначительным служением. Я вечно в долгу перед Гурудевом, перед Шрилой Прабхупадой и, конечно же, перед Кришной и Радхарани. Харе Кришна.
Thank you, dear devotees, for your blessings and for your mercy that you are allowing for me to stay here in Vrindavan and to serve my spiritual masters and Srimati Radharani and Krishna.
Jitna?
પૂજ્ય ગુરુદેવ શ્રી ઇન્દ્રદ્રુમ્ન સ્વામી, પૂજ્ય મમ્મી પપ્પા, આત્મીય પરિવારજનો અને ભગવદીઓ, જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ.
Shri Gurudev, Mom and Dad, beloved family, and dear guests and friends. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna.
પ્રતાપરાય શેઠ પરિવાર ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયા, સાઉથ આફ્રિકા, મુંબઈ તથા મોદી, દોશી અને ડેલીવાલા પરિવાર અમારી લાડકી શ્રુતિના પ્રભુ શરણ થયાના સમયે અમારા દુઃખમાં સહભાગી થવા બદલ અને અમને હિંમત અને ધૈર્ય આપવા આવેલા સર્વે પરિવારજનોના અમે ઋણી છીએ અને હૃદયપૂર્વક અમારો આભાર વ્યક્ત કરીએ છીએ.
From the Prataprai Sheth family of Mumbai, South Africa, and Australia, as well as the Modi family, the Doshi family, and the Deliwala family, we are indebted to all of you for coming here and spending your time with us during our period of loss and the departing of our darling daughter.
શેઠ પરિવારની સૌથી નાનકડી અને સૌથી મોટી ડિવોટી શ્રુતિ બાળપણથી જ ધાર્યું કરવાવાળી હતી.
The youngest child of the Sheth family, but the biggest devotee of our family, since her younger days, was always the one that had her way.
નીતિએ કયા પ્રમાણે નાનપણમાં તો શ્રુતિ રોજે રોજ કોઈને કોઈ વાત પર રિસાયેલી જ હોય. તેનો મૂડ
કોપ ભવનમાં હોય કે આનંદ ભવનમાં, તે જોઈને જ બધા તેની સાથે વાત કરવાની હિંમત કરતા.
Almost every single day, there was something or the other that would bother her or irritate her. And every family member was quite aware of what mood she was in. Was she in the anger chamber or was she in the happy chamber? And we'd only talk to her if she was available.
અભ્યાસમાં અને જિમ્નાસ્ટિકમાં હંમેશા પ્રથમ રહેતી શ્રુતિ સંગીતમાં અને પેઇન્ટિંગમાં પણ ખૂબ જ રસ ધરાવતી.
She was always the number one student. She was always elite in gymnastics. She loved her art and she loved singing and praising the Lord.
તે જે પણ પ્રવૃત્તિમાં આગળ વધતી ત્યાં હંમેશા અવ્વલ થઈને જ બતાવતી.
Whatever route she had chosen, she was always the best at it.
We can say she was not a jack of all trade, but she was queen of all trade. આવી શ્રુતિ મમ્મી પપ્પાની કૃષ્ણ ભક્તિથી પ્રેરિત થઈ અને આગળ ગુરુદેવ શ્રી ઇન્દ્રદ્યુમ્ન સ્વામીના સત્સંગથી વધુને વધુ પ્રભાવિત થઈ.
She was inspired by her mom and dad's devotion as well as the guidance of her Guruji, Sri Indradyumna Maharaj, whom she looked up to, and her spiritual journey began there.
બ્રહ્મસંબંધ દીક્ષા લીધા પછી તેની કૃષ્ણ ભક્તિ ઘણી જ વધી. તે રથયાત્રામાં અને બીજી પ્રવૃત્તિઓમાં હંમેશા વધુ બોલ્યા વિના કૃતિશીલ રહેતી. As it said, she is the perfect example of action speaks louder than the words. છેલ્લા 5-6 વર્ષથી તે વ્રજમાં કાર્તિક પરિક્રમા માટે આવતી અને જાણે તેને વ્રજભૂમિની મોહિની લાગી હતી.
For the past 6 or so years, she's been coming to Vraj to do Vraj Parikram, and it's almost as if she fell in love again.
વ્રજમાં 3 વસ્તુનું આજે પણ સાક્ષાત છે, જે ભગવાન શ્રીકૃષ્ણના જન્મ સમયે પણ હતા. શ્રી ગિરિરાજ બાવા, શ્રી અમને મહારાણી અને શ્રી વ્રજરજ.
There are 3 things true in Vraj even today as they were when Lord Krishna was here. Shri Giriraj Baba, Shri Yamuna Maharani, and Shri Vrajraj.
અને આ વ્રજરજે તેને શ્રી ગિરિરાજ બાવાનો સંપૂર્ણ રંગ ચઢાવેલો.
And now the Vraj Bhumi has completely embroiled her in Shri Giriraj Baba's colorfulness.
એપ્રિલમાં અમે સૌ પરિવાર જ્યારે નીતિના લગ્ન સમયે બ્રિસ્બેનમાં મળ્યા ત્યારે શ્રુતિએ બધાને કહેલું કે મારા લગ્ન માટે તો તમારે બધાએ વૃંદાવન જ આવવાનું છે.
In April, when you all met in Brisbane for Keshori's wedding, we were all told in no uncertain words that you will all have to fly to Vrindavan and Vraj for my wedding by Braj Vallabhi.
અને કૃષ્ણ ભક્તિમાં લીન થયેલી શ્રુતિએ પોતાની ઈચ્છા અંતિમ યાત્રામાં સમગ્ર પરિવારને વ્રજમાં બોલાવીને પૂર્ણ કરી.
And as it is always, she had her way and she got the entire family to Vrindavan at her final hour to say her final goodbyes.
શ્રુતિના જવાથી અરવિંદભાઈ, ચેતના અને બેન નીતિના જીવનમાં તથા શેઠ પરિવારમાં જે ખૂટ પડી છે તો ક્યારેય પૂર્ણ નહીં થાય. પણ શ્રુતિની ગુરુભક્તિ અને ઠાકોરજીમાં સ્વસમર્પણનો જે ભાવ છે અને જે ભાવ તેણે ખીલવ્યો તે અમારા સૌના જીવનમાં વધે તે જ પ્રભુ ચરણે અભ્યર્થના.
the hole that she's left in the lives of her parents, her sister, and her entire family cannot be fulfilled by any other being. But her love, her devotion, and her Krishna consciousness will always be in our hearts, and we will carry that for the rest of our lives.
અમે સહભાગી છીએ કે શ્રી ઠાકોરજીએ પોતાની સહચરી જેવી પવિત્ર આત્માને દીકરી શ્રુતિ રૂપે અમારા પરિવારનું સંતાન બનાવી અને કૃષ્ણ ભક્તિના અને મહામંત્રના જે ગુણો તેનામાં પ્રસરાવ્યા તે અમારામાં પણ વધુને વધુ ખીલે એ જ પ્રભુને પ્રાર્થના.
We are blessed and indebted to the Lord that He has provided us with a daughter with all these qualities, who has made us a better family and made us realize how to live a better life. We are indebted, and we pray that we are able to be as good as she was in her life.
નવેમ્બર મહિનો અમારા જીવનમાં ઘણી ઘણી ખુશીઓ લાવ્યો છે, પણ આ 11 નવેમ્બરે અમે અમારી શ્રુતિ ગુમાવી. પણ એ તો ઠાકોરજીની વલ્લભી સખી થઈ, તેનું શરણ પામી. માટે આ દિનને અમે સદાય રાધારમણની વલ્લભી સખી સખીની રાધારમણની વલ્લભી સખી દિન તરીકે યાદ રાખીશું.
November is a month that brings us a lot of joy, and the 11th of November is the day that our Shruti became one with her Lord. We will always remember that this is the day that she became one and she had passed on, and we'll celebrate this going forward.
Is it?
We'll remember it as the day that Radharaman got his Vallabhi by his side.
અંતમાં ક્ષણભરની જિંદગીને યુગ યુગ સંભારણા જીવી જાઉં એવું કેલે યોગેશ્વર વારણા ક્ષણભરની જિંદગીને યુગ યુગ સંભારણા. જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ.
So we'd like to conclude the readings now in the program here in the hall. And thank you again, everyone, for coming and giving your hearts out and speaking so nicely. The devotees who spoke were very grateful. And please, we can keep all these memories in our heart, which will all be in our heart, and continue with our devotional services. We have a nice feast prepared for her and her honor. The Prabhupada disciples will take here, I understand? In the Krishna Hall, okay. Okay, all right, so everyone can go to the Krishna Hall for the feast. Thank you very much. Vallabhi Devi Dasi ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Shri Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki, Jai Jai Sri Radhe! Shan, Hare Krishna.